So, I'm sure you're all aware of the Dine map, that Antarctic Empire owns quite a lot, a good 70% of the Earth's surface. I'm happy to say it probably is a war crime. So we are currently speaking to 4 war criminals.
SMPEarth, once known as the youngest geopolitical server in Minecraft, a virtual recreation of the planet Earth. It had a map with all 7 continents, recreated on a 1 to 3000 scale. The server included a wide variety of streamers: AntVenom, Tobuscus, TommyInnit, RTGame, and that doesn't even scratch the surface of the full roster. In total, the server lasted for 142 days. For months, SMPEarth was one of the biggest ongoings of the Minecraft community. A bunch of big YouTubers were constantly playing on the server, doing a bunch of crazy things. Wars were fought, alliances were formed, not to mention there were a bunch of insane moments. As time went on, however, SMPEarth saw a decline in popularity. As each day passed by, the creators were getting tired with the server. In an effort to conclude the SMP on a high note, there was one last big Hunger Games event. On the internet, nothing can last forever, and it was only a matter of time before we'd see the end. It's up to us to keep the memory alive. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the complete story of the one and only SMPEarth. SMPEarth officially launched on November 22nd, 2019. It was widely seen as a spiritual successor to another popular SMP server, SMPLive. And while this other SMPLive was not over at this point, it was no longer getting the same attention as it once was. A lot of the members from SMPLive went ahead and joined this new server. Notably, however, some of the most popular members from SMPLive, such as Carson and JSchlatt, never joined. The key difference between the two SMPs was SMPEarth's inclusion of factions, of geopolitical entities. There were also guns and planes, the latter of which were useful for traveling long distances. 17 days before the server's opening, on November 5th, Wilbur Soot had posted a list of areas that certain players called dibs on. Most players already knew what they wanted to accomplish, or at the very least, where they wanted to settle. To start off, the players were able to land in any continent they wanted. Well, most of them. The first day was incredibly eventful. The first faction was created by the YouTuber Technoblade and would be known as the Antarctic Empire. Ironically, by this point, he hadn't even reached Antarctica yet. When he eventually did reach Antarctica, he invited Philza to the faction. The two of them discovered the ancient stronghold, which contained the southern end portal. Captain Sparkles decided to land in Africa, where he traveled to and claimed the approximate location of the real-life country of Jordan. Jordan the person made a lot of references to his hit parody song, Revenge. Spifey founded his faction, City of England. He bought a plane and flew over to Antarctica. It was here where Philza would kill him. Another faction, Packle, was created by Poke. He attracted members from SMPLive's Team Chunk Error to join, including Michael McChill and Roasted James. The faction also attracted AntVenom, who had formed the New England Patriots shortly before. Ant disbanded his first faction to join Packle. Not only that, but AntVenom went on to set foot on every continent. Josh wanted to found the German Empire with Slimecicle, Krinios, and King Burin. Unfortunately for him, Krinios and Burin decided to instead create their own nations. 2 players, Reflex and SwiftyIsLive, joined. Because of the live map lagging, in a very German move, Slimecicle accidentally invaded France by going through Belgium. SMPLive's _Mason made the United Wyoming Union. However, he was asked to disband it by one of the admins, Chip, who sought to bomb the Wyoming area. Mason decided to join the German Empire instead. Another SMPLive member, FitMC, founded the Kingdom of Florida. Dang, that's a long name. Started the faction Scotland. Wilbur Soot made his way from Saskatchewan to Newfoundland. As he made his journey, he founded the faction, well, Newfoundland. Wilbur had an ambitious plan to create a bridge from North America to Europe. Eventually, because of the large amount of players, the server crashed, and all the factions were reset. The players sought to reclaim their land. Voiceover Pete had ambitions to conquer Greenland. His vehicle for Greenlandic domination would be his newfound faction, Voiceoverland. Shortly after, he entered a Discord call with Technoblade and Philza of the Antarctic Empire. They were discussing their discoveries, which caught Pete's interest. Voice over Pete wanted to go check out their stronghold, so he disbanded his faction and became an Antarctican. With the server having barely began, no one knew how much faction power you lose if you died. Not even the admin Josh A20 himself. FitMC decided to go over to Antarctica to sacrifice himself to Technoblade, and as it turned out, 100 power was lost. As a result of this encounter, the Kingdom of Florida and the Antarctic Empire became allies. Even more factions were formed, and the server headed into its second day. Day 2 was also pretty eventful. Once again, the factions had to be reset. We also saw the first conflict, a short one that lasted for 308 seconds. It would be known as a 100-second war. This war began when Grunk's promise of the Spanish Inquisition accepted a hit on Wilbur Soot, or in other words, he was paid $10 to go take out Newfoundland's Wilbur, who didn't even have enough resources to defend himself. After killing Wilbur, Grunk picked up a red tulip from Newfoundland and gave it to him as an apology. Tensions escalated when Grunk accepted another hit on Wilbur, this time for $15. During a small chase, Wilbur Soot threatened to call upon his new ally, the Antarctic Empire. Grunk once again picked up flowers from Newfoundland and tried to give them to Wilbur to make things right, but Wilbur knew very well that they came from his own land. He also threatened Grunk by telling him that if he did not leave, he would declare war. Grunk killed Wilbur over the $15 hit, and war was declared. Not too long after, the two got into a call, with Grunk not wanting to be in a full-blown war. This call was called the Flower Conference. Wilbur made the request to Grunk to never enter Newfoundland without permission and not to accept any hits on him ever again. In return, once his bridge, the transatlantic median, was completed, every day he would put a flower in front of Grunk's house. Grunk's promise accepted the terms of the Treaty of Flowers, and the conflict was put to an end. The third day of SMPEarth saw numerous territorial crises. First off, in what became known as the Middle East Crisis, Kara Corvus mistakenly claimed a line of land on the Arabian Peninsula. In trying to fix this, she ended up claiming a good portion of the peninsula, including areas that were claimed by the Kingdom of Jordan. Tensions between the two factions quickly rose, and a war could have started. Kara resolved this by resetting all of her empire's claims and giving Captain Sparkles some compensation. Furthermore, as a result of the aforementioned Day 2 factions reset, the Antarctic Empire lost all of its claims on Australia. Voice over Pete went out to fix this and typed /fclaim50. However, this did not go the way he intended. Pete, by accident, took over almost all of Australia, as well as a part of Bean Island.
I just claimed half the planet. Techno will be so proud. Pete, you just claimed half the world. I know, it's a gift. Philza will be like, what happened?
Every chunk within a 30 chunk radius had been claimed. Krinios was upset that this had happened. As Bean Island was a protectorate of the German Empire, German leader Josh threatened war. Pete went into a voice call to discuss the matter. In the end, Krinios forgave Voice over Pete, resolving this crisis. It would go down to be known as the Great Boomer Misunderstanding. Spifey also started a new faction called Save the Polar Bears. The following day, Spifey had a plan to kill Technoblade. He snuck into the Antarctic Empire's base to set up a trap. However, Technoblade caught and killed him. Not that long after, war was declared, marking the beginning of the Polar War. This war never came to an official end, because ever since this happened, Spifey never logged onto the server. The fifth day saw the End Raid. Kara Corvus, Captain Sparkles, and I Am Spoon ventured into the Antarctic Empire's ancient stronghold and traveled to the end. The raid also took place at midnight, so as to not be caught immediately. Kara was supposed to kill the dragon, but Captain Sparkles accidentally killed it instead. Kara did get the dragon egg, however. They went to End Cities to loot their treasures afterward. Throughout SMPEarth so far, Iceland had been claimed by 3 factions: Transatlantic, Antarctica, and the Inquisition. This all changed when Arliss Finch of Transatlantic decided to conquer the whole island. The Spanish Inquisition didn't care, but the Antarctic Empire did. This would be known as the Katla Conflict. This conflict marked the beginning of the Transatlantic-Antarctic War. The same day, Kara Corvus went mining within Iceland. While this didn't have any immediate consequences, this would lead to more later on. AntVenom left the faction Packle and began his own faction, Stall. On day 6, there was the Arctic claiming mishap. AntVenom wanted to test out claim limits, but accidentally claimed a 30 by 30 area in the Arctic Ocean. As a result, he owned 900 chunks. This only lasted for a few minutes. Kara Corvus was caught mining by the Alps, an area claimed by the German Empire. Although this didn't immediately mean anything, it led to tensions escalating in the following days. Day 7 was when Kara's mining ventures came back to haunt her. Arliss Finch learned about her illegal mining activities in Iceland. Upon learning about this, he declared the Transatlantic Corvarian War. As it turned out, however, this war ended up being just a joke. But remember how she was also mining in German territory? Well, guess what? She was confronted about it by Josh. Josh demanded reparations, but Kara refused. Tommy and it began working on his big project, Business Bridge. This bridge would connect Business Bay to Newfoundland. In the evening, J-Mac from Pogland went to RTGame's Irish faction and replaced all of his holy potatoes with carrots. RTGame saw this and was not happy. He logged into the server to attack J-Mac. In retaliation, J-Mac crashed his plane into the Irish's Dublin Spire. In J-Mac's stream chat, Tim O'Taman from Bosnia said that he would assist in a war against the Irish if the occasion were to arise. This incident would be known as the Ireland-Pogland dispute. SMPEarth Day 8 was chaotic. Technoblade did not like the way claiming worked. On the map, all the land in between what you claimed would automatically be filled in. Out of protest, he and Philza hatched a plan to take over the entire world. After unclaiming Antarctica, the two would encircle the main continents, each person on a different side. In the end, they would connect their claims, causing the map to look like everything belonged to them. This wouldn't overwrite existing claims, but no one else knew that at the time, as Philza and Techno were in the early stages of carrying out world domination. There were numerous efforts to thwart them. The admin Josh despawned their planes. That did not work. Their faction power was set to negative 5,000. That did not work either. Josh even attempted to overclaim the line being drawn with his own new made up faction, Better Factions, and if you couldn't figure it out already, that also failed. Arliss Finch was concerned that the world domination plan would cause him to lose all his claims on Iceland, so he made attempts to cut off the claim line. Technoblade convinced him to disband his faction and join the Antarctic Empire. After filling in the last gaps, the whole world looked as though it belonged to Techno's faction. A bunch of players rushed onto the server, and the Antarctic Empire's 4 members had to attend a trial in northern France. The trial was formerly known as Newfoundland vs Technoblade et al., but is more commonly referred to as the Saint-Malo trials. The presiding judge was Wilbur Soot. The trial was the most attended and documented event since the server's launch.
To everyone that's here, I'm sure you're all aware of the Dyn map and its current form. If we could all just have a look on map.smpearth.com.
Oh, it's beautiful.
See that Antarctic Empire owns quite a lot. A good 70% of the Earth's surface. Now,
look, I left a bunch of the ocean. It's fine.
This isn't against any server rule. This isn't against anything at all. This is completely within their rights. But I'm happy to say it probably is a war crime.
How is it a war crime?
Multiple war crimes.
How is it?
So we are currently speaking to 4 war criminals here.
During the trial, Arliss said that he was tricked into disbanding his faction and only helped out of fear of losing more land. Wilbur offered Arliss Finch a full acquittal in exchange for doubling Technoblade's sentence, which he accepted.
Arliss, it's fair enough. So I will offer you this right now, Arliss.
Please turn the weather off.
Are you willing to double Techno's sentence? As you're putting all the blame onto him. Are you willing to double his sentence at the cost of you no longer being, no longer being on trial right now?
How is that? Yes. What is this?
Yeah, okay, Arliss, you can join the jury.
Sick. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for throwing your allies under the bus.
You're welcome, Arliss.
That's what you get.
Wait. Let me explain what he just said. He said I told him he could keep his country, and he was so intimidated by me promising not to do anything
you've had your turn
that
to
he
speak.
disbanded his country and joined us. And I'm the okay. This seems kind of one-sided. I feel like we're being discriminated against here.
You are.
Totally.
Voice over Pete.
You own the world. Hello?
In the end, voiceover Pete, Philza, and Technoblade were found guilty. The Antarctic Empire was restricted to the Antarctic continent. Not only that, but the United Nations was formed, as well as 3 worldwide laws: no writing with borders, no artwork, and no taking over the world. Arliss re-established Transatlantic. However, he immediately got into a war with the Antarctic Empire for selling out during the trial. For more protection, Transatlantic ended up being annexed by the German Empire. Kara Corvus did not want to pay the German Empire any reparations for her mining activities. This instigated a dogfight in Europe, part of the German-Corvarian War. During this battle, Kara accidentally turned on autoclaim, which complicated the borders. It led to her annexing chunks of land belonging to the German Empire, Newfoundland, Mario Luigi, and the Burin Empire. Josh ended up filing a lawsuit. The 9th day of SMPEarth saw the second trial, which would resolve the German-Corvarian War once and for all. Formally, the trial is known as Kara Corvus versus It's Josh, with Krinios as a presiding judge. Josh argued that Kara stole diamonds from the German Empire, in that she owed them 30. Kara insisted that the diamonds were actually hers, because her land was being terrorized by one of the German Empire's members. In the end, Krinios ruled that Kara had to pay a reparation of 12 diamonds. The stuff brought up by Kara, as well as the border mess, were to be discussed in later trials. These trials never happened, and with this trial now over, it was the end of the German-Corvarian War. On day 10, Jameski, who joined the previous day, tried claiming land for his newly established faction, Prime. He accidentally deleted every claim in Asia and Africa, which meant that the map had to be reset to how it was before the Saw-Malo trials. Day 11 saw the occurrence of the Australian Civil War. Jameski decided to disband Prime and start a new faction, Papega. James conquered almost all of Australia, except for an area in the west claimed by the Perthopians. Right after this, Perthopian Rubber Ninja was threatened by James to join his new faction. This did not work, which led to James asking Ross and Kara Corvus about how to declare war. An airstrike was called upon Jameski's cow in a failed attempt to take out James. Jameski retaliated by killing all the livestock in the Corvarian Empire. Throughout this whole time, tensions between nations had been building. It was on day 16 when the largest war of all began, the Great SMPEarth War. It all began when Tommy Innit of Business Bay destroyed a portion of the Antarctic Empire's Boomer Bridge. The Antarctic Empire was ready to defend. A battle broke out on French Bridge. This fighting continued onto Business Bridge. The Antarctic Empire also got help from Wilbur Soot of Newfoundland and Soot Charlie of K-pop. Tommy tried to escape, but was not able to get away. The Allied forces tried getting Tommy to agree to certain terms in the Treaty of Broken Bridges, but no agreement was made. In the end, the treaty was destroyed by Wilbur. Events of the war continued on to day 22 when Tommy Innit went into the ancient stronghold and stole 6 diamond blocks. Tommy believed that they belonged to Techno, when in reality, they were voiceover Pete's. Fit MC of Florida found out and swore to protect the Antarctic Empire. Tommy was pressured into returning Pete's blocks. Tommy Innit swore that he would duel Technoblade. This duel eventually came on day 27, with Tommy losing. Tommy got Technoblade to go to an area in Antarctic-owned South Africa to negotiate. As it turned out, there was a pit trap capable of dealing a lot of damage to anyone, regardless of their armor. Techno survived this trap and kept on killing Tommy Innit. Following this, there was the Battle of the Pit, a 3v3 between Technoblade, Sneegsnag, and Filza versus Tommy Innit, Sylvie, and Grunk's Promise. Tommy and Grunk died, but Sylvie managed to escape by plane, only to die to a creeper sometime after the fight. Fit MC arrived at the very end, disappointed that he wasn't able to blow up Sylvie with end crystals. Tommy had to sign the Treaty of the Pit, which included him having to build a cow farm and Tommy having to call Technoblade an alpha male at all times. The events of this day would be known as the Wednesday War. The Great War continued on day 37 with the first events of the raid of Bean York City. Tommy Innit set up traps in the Bean Empire's Bean York City. The next day, Sylvie died. She retaliated by raiding Tommy with Krinios and Thunder, taking and trapping his villager. Tommy struck back by organizing an entire raid on Bean York City with Wisp and Luke or something. This raid did not go well, and they had to retreat. Waiting back home at Business Bay was Filza, who called an airstrike and killed Wisp. Tommy wanted to be on neutral terms with the Bean Empire, so he and Sylvie agreed on the terms for the Treaty of Bean York. Wisp decided to leave Business Bay and join the Antarctic Empire. Day 40 saw one of the deadliest wars in SMPEarth history, the God War, a war between Business Bay and the most powerful person on the server, Josh A20. Chip was making a deal with Business Bay so that he wouldn't be killed if he accidentally mined into their territory. Josh A20 teleported to him and messed around with the faction using a knockback 70, punch 70 stick. Tommy in it was able to grab it, but Josh immediately took back the stick from Tommy's chest. Upset, war was declared on Josh.
Hey guys, Technoblade is on my stream. If we have any secret plans, let's not talk about them anymore. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna tell Techno, but the admins gave me a pretty powerful stick, and I don't really know.
Where'd you shoot him?
They took it out my chest.
What?
Kill him.
Kill the admins. War on the admins.
I need gear. 1 second.
He dipped. He just vanished away. Okay.
He's
I
inspect.
feel
Oh,
like
he's out of spectator. Yeah, there he is.
What is? This isn't fair.
He was vanished. You can see
I do
him
not
in
feel like
tablets.
war on the admins is a fair fight that we can win in. Oh!
Oh yeah?
I was in reverse F5.
You're probably right.
I'm getting him.
What? You guys are having an interesting
Oh,
first day.
he just vanished again.
He's cheating.
What?
Coward!
What?
For the next hour plus, the entirety of Business Bay tried to kill Josh. Josh decided to make it a quote-unquote fair fight by giving himself a ton of golden apples and good armor. Eventually, they managed to kill Josh. Day 41 saw the next big part of the Great War. The events of the day were known as the New Year's Day War. Business Bay went over to the Antarctic Empire's capital, Port-au-Français, to place images that read, "Tommy is angry." Voiceover Pete invited them to see his Big Boomer train station. Wisp and Tommy traded hits, which led Voiceover Pete to call an airstrike. In doing so, he accidentally killed himself. Business Bay's Time Dio saw this, stole Pete's items, and escaped back to Business Bay with Tommy in it. Wisp got upset, and Florida's Sal C1 came to help. Pete, Filza, Sal, and Wisp all ventured over to Business Bay. Sylvie and Krinios, despite having agreed on the Treaty of Bean York, also came to help, giving the justification that they're an ally of the Antarctic Empire. Wisp began blowing up the faction's base. Cows were slaughtered, and the Antarcticans wanted to kill Time Dio. Tommy and it tried threatening to kill their villagers if they killed Dio, but stopped this plan once they said that they were prepared to follow him. Sylvie made an attempt at establishing negotiations between the two sides. She got Time Dio to return some items to Pete, but not his armor. Sylvie said that she was willing to trade her armor for Pete's. To do this, she began by unequipping her armor. Big mistake. Tommy in it noticed that Sylvie was now in a vulnerable position, so she was swiftly killed. Sylvie asked for her items back, but Business Bay said that they'd only return them under the condition that she ended her alliance with the Antarctic Empire. Sylvie agreed, got most of her items back, declared Business Bay as an enemy, then prepared an attack with the Antarctic Empire. Tommy and Dio both logged out, saying that it was late. Business Bay was further destroyed, and traps were set for Tommy in it and Time Dio for when they logged back on. On day 42, some members of the Inquisition decided to start a new faction called Gay Bay. The people who did this were Ink T, Grunk's Promise, Tanning Oil, and Bandana Bloom. Later on, Rob Tub and Chip joined, and the faction's name was changed to Log Lagoon. The faction was a protectorate of Business Bay. Residing just north of it, the faction had its own official religion. Kara Corvus went to go pay the faction a visit. The members of Log Lagoon tried to convert her to the faction's religion. As a joke, Kara struck some of the members with her overpowered pickaxe, the Yeeter, and pretended to call an airstrike. Grunk's Promise asked her to leave, to which she responded by calling a real airstrike. The airstrike hit the altar. Chip responded by calling upon the power of the gods and starting a thunderstorm. The next day, Michael McChill was given a tour of Log Lagoon. He saw logs that looked like poop and was worried that the images he was looking at violated the Twitch terms of service. He tried not to look at them, but accidentally got another look. The members of Log Lagoon blamed the images on Kara Corvus. Michael had enough of the faction, which he saw as filthy. Michael then teamed up with Kara Corvus, Poke, and I Am Spoon. This was the start of the war known as the Great Flush. The objective was to destroy the faction off the face of the earth. Poke wasn't on board at first. However, he changed his mind when in his chest, he saw two items named Queen Slam's Log. Queen Slam being Log Lagoon's deity. Michael wanted Poke to buy him weapons, but he wouldn't. Kara then offered to buy them instead. Some squabbling later, everything was settled, they got I Am Spoon on board, and then they all started venturing over to Log Lagoon. Inkty started to regret founding the faction, so he disbanded it. Chip didn't like that, so he founded Log Lagoon again. It was when Chip restarted Log Lagoon when they were declared enemies of Packle, Arkansonia, and the Corvarian Empire. The members of Log Lagoon hid in a bunker. The attackers attempted to blow up their way inside and to overclaim the land, but neither worked. The attackers retreated into a hill that they F-claimed. After a bit, they once again made attempts at attacking the members of Log Lagoon. While they continued to try getting into the bunker, the members of Log Lagoon quietly snuck away. Poke noticed and was quickly able to catch up. Michael tried shooting them, but couldn't due to faction protection. Grunk tried to blow up Michael McChill with an end crystal, but only blew up himself instead. Poke was able to kill Tanning Oil. Michael McChill went ahead and F-claimed the hatch of the bunker so as to prevent Log Lagoon from escaping. Poke blew up an end crystal, accidentally killing Michael McChill. As Michael made his way back to the area, they realized that Log Lagoon had disbanded. They had beaten Log Lagoon in the war. Some banter and negotiations later, the Treaty of the Great Flush was signed. This treaty would make Log Lagoon not be as dirty. Also, the faction was soon re-established again. There had been hints about a big event, which eventually happened on day 45, the moon landing. A bunch of players got together to defeat Big Bertha, the dragon. Right after, a bunch of people scrambled to collect the egg. This egg was collected by Technoblade. As it turned out, however, the story about SMPEarth's dragon eggs gets more complicated. First off, Hara Corvus's dragon egg from when she raided the end early on went missing. On the moon, there was an Octangula which had another egg. Grunk's Promise found it, but didn't have the resources to be able to collect it. Captain Sparkles stumbled upon it too, and collected it. The fourth and final egg was spawned in by Chip in the hidden moon base. Sneegsnag was the first to get it, who then passed it on to Filza so that he could get the achievement, who then passed it on to Wilbur Soot for the same reason. As soon as he got the egg, however, Wilbur logged off. This sparked the beginning of the first Dragon Egg War. The Antarctic Empire and Mario Luigi declared war on Newfoundland. Wilbur had just stolen Sneegsnag's egg. Another member of his faction, Sophie Texas, was attacked and was told to get her faction's leader, Wilbur, back online. However, Wilbur Soot did not answer. Wilbur Soot finally logged back onto the server on day 48. Filza immediately noticed and tried getting him to hand over the dragon egg. Wilbur convinced Phil that the egg was actually in his ender chest, convincing him to place one down. Wilbur immediately hid his egg inside and proceeded to be continuously killed by Filza until he complied. Wilbur ended up combat logging and playing something else. Filza ended up holding Wilbur's P-Dog ransom. It was on day 54 when Wilbur returned to the server, realizing that P-Dog was now gone. A lot of negotiations later, Wilbur Soot ended up having to give his dragon egg to the Antarctic Empire. Filza tried to return the egg to Sneegsnag, who told him to keep it since he was more active on the server anyways. The last battle of the Great War happened on day 58. This day's war would be known as the Port A Offensive. The previous day, Tommy, Innit, and Time Dio unsuccessfully tried to kill VoiceOver Pete. This day, they went out to attack Port A Francais, threatening Pete and Technoblade's dog, Floof. Technoblade logged on for the first time since the moon landing to help fight. Technoblade, Sal C1, and VoiceOver Pete fought back, killing Tommy Innit and Luke or something. Florida and Antarctica had a discussion with Business Bay during what people call the business break, which temporarily eased tensions. However, Tommy Innit soon ordered the killing of Floof, which succeeded. Tommy and Time Dio were both killed. In a counterattack, Florida and Antarctica tried to blast Business Bay member Bitzel out with TNT. Bitzel managed to trap Sal C1, but then was killed by Filza. Tommy killed another dog, Doggo. In response, Technoblade killed both him and Luke or something, then proceeded to go mug Business Bay with his faction members and Florida. In the end, Tommy Innit had to pay reparations of $100,000. While the Great War never came to an official end, this was the last battle. SMPEarth's 62nd day was when the raid of Pueblo de Pog happened. This raid started when some former members of the Inquisition went to go collect some stuff that they left behind when they left the faction. Grunk's Promise, Ink Tea, and Tanning Oil of Log Lagoon all went to the Inquisition's territory. It seemed that they wanted this to be quick, but Grunk said that they were colonizing what they had once lost. Ice Bomb of the Inquisition didn't want to just stand there watching himself getting taken over, so he fought. He kept dying and ended up logging off. He never returned. This made Icebomb the only server member to leave on bad terms. Day 63 saw the beginning of the Green Cumulon crisis. The admin chip accidentally broke Java's integer limit and spawned in a mega slime. This slime was not counted as an entity, so no admin could kill it. The slime had over 2 billion health. A bunch of streamers came together to try to avert the crisis. Over the next few days, a lot of attempts were made at containing the slime. The start of the end came on day 65, when Captain Sparkles and Josh A20 successfully broke the Cumulon into 3. The following day, Michael McShill and AntVenom went to go revisit the Green Cumulon. On the floor of the containment chamber, there was a command block which spawned in even more Cumulons. The two of them, and later on Kara Corvus, spawned in even more Cumulons until Chip intervened, insta-killed all slimes, moved the location of the command block, and restored the original Green Cumulon in its chamber. Players were then warned from ever visiting it again to prevent causing lag spikes on the server. The 72nd day of SMPEarth saw the second Dragon Egg War. Previously, the admin Josh A20 had built a structure so that Kara Corvus could have her Dragon Egg back. The egg she collected is considered the 5th Dragon Egg. Business Bay wanted it. Time Dio and Tommy Innit ventured to her palace. Word got to Kara about their intentions, and she was able to store the egg away. Kara was robbed and repeatedly killed until she negotiated. She refused. Eventually, Log Lagoon declared war on Business Bay and came to Kara's aid. The war finally came to an end when Business Bay listened to a passing statement by Technoblade that there was no content to be gained, and they returned everything stolen. As time passed, SMPEarth stopped being in the spotlight. Wanting things to end on a good note, on March 16th, they made a huge announcement about the SMPEarth Olympics. They posted a video, and in a subsequent tweet, they said, alongside the amazing announcement of this, the SMPEarth Olympics will be the final big event of SMPEarth. Unfortunately, all things have to come to an end. This is why we've decided we would end the server on a good note. The server will continue until April 11th, then close. They wanted to make one last big event to give the server a proper ending, rather than letting it fade out of relevance. The host of the Olympics would be Lego Maestro, a Minecraft news YouTuber. It would be a charity event for the Trevor Project, an LGBTQ+ suicide prevention utility for crisis situations. It was eventually turned into a Hunger Games event with 2 rounds. When the day came, everyone gathered and prepared to fight. The winner of the first round was Beat Solos. Then in the second round, the winner was Cody. After that all happened, everyone posed for a group photo, and that was it. The Hunger Games event had ended, which meant it was time for everyone to say their goodbyes. Now that the last Hunger Games was over, it was time for a send-off. The big Hunger Games was the last day for a lot of people on SMPEarth. Some people continued to play on the server, and soon, the final day arrived. Day 142. A lot of the SMP's players logged in to say their final goodbyes. Some even went as far as to hide Easter eggs. The Errant completed a world tour that began the previous day, admiring the server's various views and landmarks. Wilbur Soot went and flew around Newfoundland to answer some questions with Soapy Texas. Voiceover Pete went and blew up a number of his monuments with the assistance of players, including Krinios and Time Dio. Kara Corvus also went and blew stuff up, only it was actually an explosive world tour. Kara traveled to her colonies all across the world, blowing up a number of her monuments, including the Temple of Heaven and her Imperial Palace. After a donation of $50, she went to Captain Sparkle's Creeper Amman, his capital, to blow up some of his stuff too. Krinios and Sylvie explored some of the projects that they worked on during their time, both complete and incomplete. Salc1 logged in with his 2B2T hacked client and tried trapping Tommy Innit in Bedrock. The members of Business Bay said goodbye to the server together. Unlike other factions, however, they wanted to remain as the last faction in pristine shape. They went out and destroyed territories of other nations. Tommy Innit used Krinios so that he could finally kill someone with his pit trap from the Battle of the Pit. And just like that, the server finally came to an end. The server that had forged relationships between creators that could last a lifetime. Even people at war truly became friends at the end of the day. The server exists right now as a public server, but it doesn't compare to how it was when it was a private server. From the server's conflicts to its friendships, the once youngest geopolitical server in Minecraft will continue to live on in the hearts of those who've cherished their experiences. As Dr. Seuss once said, "Don't be sad that it's over. Smile because it happened." Here's to the one and only SMPEarth. What do you think? What do you think was the best part of SMPEarth? What was your favorite nation? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you'd like to join the Penguin Army and stay tuned for more documentaries like this, be sure to subscribe. If you hated it, don't forget to leave a dislike. Every video I give a shout out, and the shout out for today goes to the one and only Wild Jam. For a chance at a shout out, all you have to do is comment on this video. You can say anything, and you don't even have to subscribe. I will choose a random comment and put it in my next video. If you made it this far into the video, can we get a hashtag Zyphon Discord in the comments? I have a Discord server you all should join, and this is a pretty good way for publicity. I really can't believe I never thought of this before. I'm tricking you all into advertising my Discord server in the comments. If you want to join though, link is in the description. Besides all that, be sure to check out my other videos. For my last documentary on this scale, the rise and fall of Minecraft Saturdays, you should click on the video to the left. You can also click on the right for a documentary about the rise and fall of a YouTuber named Rundown HD. I mean, he returned now, and I think, despite what has changed since then, it does a good job of explaining his channel history. Anyways, that's it, see ya, peace.